Please don't push me.
Please don't push me, but y'all push B. Now we got dwellers from Cali to Flatbush B. Now they got heat on they feet that say press B. And now we so deep in the streets, y'all can't stress me. Can't curse me, then bless me. I'm crucifying my flesh, that's less me. SAT'd from preaching, can't test me. Atheists are now believing, that bless me. Yeah, we got the basement replacing any of those worldly pursuits that y'all chasing, any of those trials and tests that y'all facing, any of the relationships that y'all changing. We rearranging, making the shame shift, giving Satan back what's his, that's the blame shift. Rise up and walk commands, that's the lame shift. Cheat codes for living this life, that's the game shift. All on Yeshua, man, the rest is manure, man. I'm dying daily, so I rise up a purer man. Pressing B daily, so my sins looking fewer, man. Washing the blood, so my sins down the sewer, man. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be.
I remember when podcasts first came out, and we had one of the first 3 or 5 podcasts. Yeah, it was crazy. And in that journey, Aaron came to me one day and said, "Hey, there's this guy named Tim Ross, and he has this extraordinary podcast, and you should go be on his podcast." And I wasn't familiar with Tim or anything like that at that time, and he just kept telling me this guy is pretty unique. He's got something really special. He's having a conversation people are not having. So I went out to Texas, to the country of Texas, and I thought I was going to Dallas, but I wasn't going to Dallas. I was going to an asteroid outside of Dallas, and I drove until there were no more people, and then I drove out to this beautiful, beautiful home, and I realized, oh, I'm going to this guy's house. And went around the back, went upstairs, and it's called the basement, but it's actually the attic. And so, you know, it's all about marketing. And I don't know if you ever met someone and just instantly felt like you've known each other all your lives. And that was the experience I had with Tim. Now, Tim Ross has had probably one of the most rapidly impactful podcasts in the United States. And it's almost like he stepped behind the curtain of the brokenness and toxicity and damage of Christianity and just pulled the curtain open and said, I'm going to bring light to dark places. And some of you are going to love me for doing that. Some of you are going to hate me for doing that. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyway. And because he's a stand-up comic, he can use all of that material. And so I just want you to get the experience of a conversation with the founder of The Basement, Tim Ross. Would you come to It's so good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's 2 introverts talking in front of a bunch of people.
Thanks for highlighting that. Let's just pretend they're not there.
Okay.
Tim, you have an incredible. You have an interesting history, and a part of it was you were a founding pastor for a long time.
Yes, 7 years.
And so some of your experience that you brought into The Basement was from being a founding pastor, but also being on some pretty significant church staffs.
Yeah.
And along the way. And so you brought a lot of background. But when I started listening to you, one of the things that I saw right away was you poke in the very places everyone tries to ignore. And so how many podcasts have you done now?
Hundreds.
Hundreds, okay, all right. Thank you for that specific number, Tim.
Yeah,
and
I'm so sorry.
Okay, but here's what I want to ask you. All right, you've probably have explore different topics, different subjects. But if you were to identify the subject or two that you feel has hit that sensitivity of this is a conversation we have to have, can you identify those?
Vulnerability and integrity. And when I say integrity, I'm not just talking about like doing the right thing. I'm talking about being integral, being one person everywhere you go. A non-duplicitous person who is the same privately and publicly.
Oh, we're gonna go hard and deep right away. Okay. and what did you have for lunch today? No. And because you deal so much in ministry. I mean, your podcast is clearly like a conversation in many ways with Christianity. Do you find surprisingly that integrity is in deficit?
Yeah, disappointingly. Like, that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be the top two things that come to my mind or that are the recurring themes.
They should already be covered, right?
It should already be covered, right? And so, disappointingly, vulnerability and integrity seem to be the most difficult things for us to do. Now, I know why. I literally know why.
All right, tell us why then.
Yeah, it's okay. Genesis 3. This is our fight. Our fight is not, we have to stop doing bad. What we're really trying to get to is Genesis 2:25. And they were naked and not ashamed. That's what we're trying to get back to, like vulnerability. Right now, if it wasn't for Adam and Eve, we'd be naked now.
We're not recommending that, okay? Just, don't
that's
take that.
That's not something we can actually do.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a viral clip.
If they made it to heaven after I worshiped Jesus for 1,000,000 years straight, I just want to know where they at. Because I just want to go say, hey, really? Y'all couldn't, out of all that y'all had in that garden, y'all couldn't move around? Like y'all just, Eve, you just had to keep staring at that thing till the serpent came? You know what I mean? So we're really trying to reset back to naked and not ashamed, where vulnerability and authenticity was our default setting. And we lost that when shame came in. And duplicity started with Adam and Eve. It was, I must now hide who I am because I know something I don't want anyone else to know.
Yeah. But don't you think there's a connection between these two issues? That the number one and number two issues are authenticity and integrity, because it's hard to move toward integrity without living in authenticity. And so then the default mode, because I see this, especially in pastors, I was going to say young pastors, but now everybody's young to me. So, it's like all pastors.
And all pastors are falling.
Yeah, I mean, Kim and I live in a world where almost none of our peers are still standing.
Right, sadly, right.
And one of the things that's challenging is that when you have talent, people affirm that talent, and they don't give you time to be authentic. They actually create an environment that tells you be inauthentic so you can get promoted. And then later they judge you for having been inauthentic, which is what they actually coach you to become. Yeah, because we're the worst. Like when somebody messes up, especially now with social media, everyone destroys them. Everybody seems to love it. It's like proof you're insincere rather than proof you're human. And because we think that sincere people never mess up.
Correct.
Sincere people mess up as much as insincere people. They just get caught more. Because insincere people know how to hide their duplicity.
That's right. That's right.
And that's one of the challenges, is that we've just seen it decade after decade after decade, where once you achieve a level of notoriety or success, the price of being honest is too high. Right? You know, when someone walks into Mosaic and they don't know Jesus, they ain't hiding anything. Yeah, I'm sleeping with my girlfriend and I'm cheating on my girlfriend. It's like, they're just kind of bragging about it. They're not like, they're not hiding it. Their closet is sort of like their living room. This is where I live. But if you grow up in the church, you're taught to create a basement.
Right. So this is my issue. My issue is this has been systematized.
Yeah.
Right. Many churches have become a system for farming disingenuity.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a farming system for duplicitous people.
Yeah.
Right? We venerate your talent and your gifting above your character.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't make it so overt, you can keep singing. You can keep playing. You can keep preaching. You can keep serving.
Yeah.
Right? But if it becomes public, we must disavow any knowledge of you.
Right. So the real sin is getting caught.
That's it. Right. And so so let's go back to Genesis 3. The theologians in the room may disagree. I don't believe that Adam and Eve got kicked out of the garden for what they did. I believe they got kicked out for what they hid.
That's good.
I don't think doing it was the issue. I think hiding it was. It's the doubling down on what hiding is, the doubling down of what you did.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how this connects, but I think I was reading Genesis yesterday. Days are a little blurry for me. But I think it was yesterday, and I was reading it, and I was noticing that when God said, do not eat from the fruit of this tree, he was only saying it to Adam.
Correct.
Because Eve hadn't been created yet.
Correct.
And
she was in him.
Yeah, and so I thought, this is interesting because he didn't transfer the value that God entrusted him with. And I was reading this going, wow, we always think it was Eve, but really, Adam didn't do his job. You know?
Absolutely right. So let me co-sign on that. Let me co-sign on that. And men, prepare yourself. It's about to get tight for y'all. Ladies, look straight ahead. Don't elbow, don't nudge, don't blink, just focus. Don't change your face, don't just, okay? Because it's about to get tight for the men right now. So ladies, don't agitate. Let's double down. This is why sin is not ascribed to Eve. Scripture says Eve was deceived. Adam sinned.
Yeah.
Because what should have happened when Eve was deceived and brought the fruit to Adam is he should have slapped it out of her hand and said, girl, what is you doing? You about to mess all this up. So, because Adam at that point would have known the penalty of death, he should have called out to the Father and said, I know what the penalty of my wife's disobedience is, but I don't want it to happen to her. Entonces. Estoy aprendiendo español. Entonces, do it to me instead.
So Adam could have been the first Christ.
Adam, which is why Christ is called the second Adam.
Yeah.
Because Christ did what Adam should have.
That's right.
Adam should have died for his wife. Instead, he chose to die with his wife.
Come on.
So Christ dies for his bride, and instead of dying with his bride. And that's why we worship him the way that we do.
And by the way, I'm convinced that they were removed from the garden not as a punishment.
It's protection.
God did not want to perpetuate the condition they were in forever. They were taken out of the garden so they could live again.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because if they would have had the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil and then partook of the tree of life, they would be stuck like that forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would just always be naked and ashamed.
Yes. Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Oh.
So let me just say to the men out here, for the husbands, the responsibility is on us, and it is heavy and it is weighty, but that's not your excuse. That's your reason to submit to a God that empowers you to handle the responsibility. And if you are in your place, that man with a womb, that womb man is protected and covered. But if you are out of place, you leave her uncovered. So, okay.
Yeah. I just know how good. We had no idea we're going in this direction.
No,
this
and
so
it's weird because the two podcasts we've done, we could just flow like this and just keep going.
Yeah.
But now there's applause, and then we're just like,
yeah.
It's like a reaction to it in real time, and I'm just used to being on my couch in my house.
I know. I just think when most people watch our conversations, they think we're doing mushrooms. And,
Lion's mane. Mine are lion's mane.
One of the things I know as a leader is that I can actually give a person like an instruction, and there's deep meaning behind it, but they don't absorb the meaning. They just absorb the instruction, and then they give it to someone else, and that person says, "What do you have to do?" They go, "I don't know. That's what he wants."
Right.
And so the value of the why isn't transferred. And so when I look at this Genesis account, I know that the value of the why wasn't transferred. I can almost hear Adam going, yeah, we can eat from that tree. This one. The one we're standing on. And she goes, why? And he goes, he just doesn't want us to eat. You have to transfer the value. And because the only way you know you've actually transferred the value system is the action.
That's right. That's really, I like you. Every time Erwin comes, I'm just like, I'm dumb, and he's really not. This breaks my brain because Lucifer comes to Eve. The conversation is so, the way it starts is bizarre. Mm-hmm. There's no prior indication of any conversation ever. Mm-hmm. And then he just comes up and is like, did God not say you should eat from every tree? Like, there's no hello, good morning, like, my name is. It's just, did he not say you cannot eat from every tree? And then Eve, talking about this not being transferred, says back, well, if we eat it or touch it, we will die.
Right.
And now I know it hasn't been transferred, to your point, because God didn't say anything about touching it.
Yeah.
Like, what if one of the fruit fell, and then you kicked it. Like, you gonna drop dead? Like, he's not that petty, right? Like, so, he's not petty at all, but I just wanted to.
Want to clarify that?
Yeah. Sometimes it feels petty, but it's not. It does. It just does. So it is this, it's the meaning that's made of it now.
Yeah.
Because Adam because it wasn't received correctly, now it gets distorted incorrectly, and his statement was the truth, right? Even though he's a deceiver. And that's what makes deception so nefarious, is that there's truth in it.
Yeah.
A lie is absent of truth. Mm-hmm. Deception has a little bit of truth in it. Mm-hmm. So when he says, you won't surely die, that was just enough deception to give the inception like energy. Yeah. And so they didn't drop dead, but they did start dying. Like my example always is, everybody pull out your phone. If you got your phone, pull it out. Just indulge me for 5 seconds. Okay, so y'all got juice, y'all got energy. It's early, so y'all shouldn't have been doing this much on your phone. But I got 84% right now. I'm hyped.
I've got 84%.
Do you really?
Bro, come on.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You got 84%. 84%. Yeah. What? It's a prophetic number. I don't know.
I feel like our frequencies are just
yes, our frequencies are locked. So the 84%ers are like 84. 84? Do I have 84? Do I have 85? 85, 85, 86. So, okay. So, now I'm confident I can do a lot. I can watch some movies, I could edit, I could text, I could do emails, blah, blah, blah. That confidence doesn't make me aware of the fact that my phone is dying. I don't even consider it at 84%. When it gets to 4, I'm like, boy, I need that charger. Okay. The moment they ate the fruit, they didn't drop dead. They started dying. 84% ain't 100%.
Can I throw out another possibility?
Of course.
The physical manifestation is a reflection of the spiritual reality. That when they ate from the tree, they did die. And the manifestation of it is that they began physically dying.
Correct. That's good. Yes.
And the problem is that when you die, you don't know you're dead.
It's so true.
It's just like when you're stupid. You don't know you're stupid.
It's so true. It's the same.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, how do you help a person who has no emotional intelligence have emotional intelligence, right? How do you help it's like it's a challenge. Because we're spending time in my favorite place in the Bible pretty much.
Genesis?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know.
How many times have you told me stop preaching from Genesis? Too many times. Oh, endless.
Kim, you're done with it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, what book you preaching from, babe? He's like, Genesis. You're like, I'll stay home today.
Yeah.
Kim's like, I'll intercede from the house.
And it's just Genesis. It's just Genesis 1 through 11. I just keep going back and forth.
There's so much in it.
It's so much. So here's the thought. Okay, because you can't really have a snake come and talk to you for the first time. Because the first time you're gonna be like, ah! Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. That's the first time, right? And so we're stepping into the middle of a conversation. And
Go on.
And I think when the Bible says they were naked and unashamed, it's not talking about their skin. I think what it means is that there was nothing hidden between them.
Thank you.
That every emotion was seen and experienced. Every thought was seen and experienced. That there was no separation between them. But I think there was only no separation between them, but there was no separation between them and creation.
Absolutely correct.
And so it was not unexpected that a creation would be able to communicate with them. I'm just throwing this out as a possibility that when you read Genesis, there was no language because there's nothing hidden. And that everything was known. Because even when it says they heard the sound of God walking in the garden, you have to move to a level of intimacy. Because God isn't the only sound in the garden. There's bears and tigers and giraffes and camels. So there's all kinds of sounds. And so you have to be able to distinguish the sound of when a mountain lion is moving to when an antelope is moving. And you have to be able to distinguish when you hear God walking through the garden. And so there's a level of connectedness that we do not understand. I think there's another possibility too, that they were to have authority of the birds in the air and the fish of the sea and the animals that walk on the ground. But right now we're only designed to have authority over the animals that walk on the ground. So is it possible that we have the mythology of Aquaman and Superman because there was a time humans could exist under the ocean, and that's where we get the images of Atlantis? Because latent in human memory, we once had dominion over the oceans, and once we had dominion over the skies. But when we fell, we got grounded and limited in who we are.
Yeah, you only get to, the curse of Adam is you only get to work, toil with the soil.
Yeah, so we're recreating what we've lost. We create submarines because we once had dominion there. And we create airplanes because we once had dominion there. We create rocket ships because we once had dominion there. And so we're trying to replace through technology once we had through essence.
And then there's glimpses of it. There's glimpses of it because if you go to SeaWorld... No, you on to something, Erwin, because if you go to SeaWorld, how in the world did you train Shamu to do that? Like, why would that fool even listen to you? Why would it, like, how do you train a dolphin?
And why do porpoises instinctively save humans when they're drowning in the ocean? It's as if
it's like they're doing it on purpose.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't have gotten away with that
I'm sorry.
My kids would have railed me
Yeah,
for
I'm
like
sorry.
a dad joke.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because that was more important than the thought. It's almost as if they once knew us.
Yes. Yeah. I'm fascinated by that. Yeah.
But let's go back to the important things. All right, so we're working our way through authenticity and integrity.
Yep.
And you mostly focus with people who are struggling in the world of faith.
Yeah. Yeah. I get to talk to everybody now.
I was going to ask you. So, with the people outside of faith, do you see the same struggle?
Ain't nothing different between them jokers. Everybody's doing the same thing. They're just doing it a different way, right? So I used to work at Potter's House in Dallas, Texas, and obviously that was a predominantly black church, right? And in inner city black communities, everybody's wearing their struggle on their T-shirt. Like, you ain't got to poke before they tell you what's going on with them, right?
Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're from Inglewood.
I'm from Inglewood.
You're a homie. Wow,
yeah, I'm born and raised. This is my hood. Yeah, I was born and raised here. So, Texas just saved my life. The country of Texas saved my life.
It's saving a lot of Californians.
Yeah, it is. So, you're dealing with generational patterns, behaviors, traumas, and they're open about it, right? And then I was there for 13 and a half years. Then I went to Gateway Church on the north side of town, predominantly white, conservative, Caucasian. And I started to counsel some people from there. And they do the same thing the people from the hood do. I was just fascinated by the dynamic of the optics. Because in the hood, they went to a liquor store and they got, some 40s or some Wild Turkey 101 and numbed themselves to whatever pain they were feeling, right? And in the suburbs, they went down the wine aisle at Central Market. And they got 2 bottles of sangria for the night.
You haven't upscaled yet, bro.
You know what I mean?
I was just with some very, very wealthy people, and they're buying the most expensive bottles.
Yes.
It just stays the same.
Right? So you're just the more affluence you have, the bougier your numbing gets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you broke, you just gonna roll a blunt. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford cocaine. Like, it's not in your budget. It's not your line item. You can't do it. You can't get drunk to McClellan. You don't have it. It's just, you can't do a nice shot. You got to do, a watered down shot. So people are the same. And if you close your eyes and you listen to your stories, they just all blur together. You got to pop your eyes open to see what ethnicity said it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask you more of a personal question. In all these interviews, in all the conversations you've had, what's one thing that has surprised you or that you've learned for your own life that you thought, oh, this is an important insight for myself? Or because I know you've been through some really tumultuous times. You've experienced great moments. You've experienced moments of betrayal. You've you know the painful journey of what other people see as easy success. Are there some truths or principles that have really settled into your own soul?
Yeah, I learned so much from our audience, and I am both inspired, encouraged, and challenged by them. Like, I don't think they understand how much they challenge me, because when your private life becomes public, and that's the instruction the Holy Spirit gave you, right? Like, make your private life public. Who wants to do that, right? Especially as an introvert. Who wants to do that, right? Now, he made it easy for me because I get to do it from my house. But once that's public, the feedback I receive, again, encourages me, inspires me, challenges me, because I'm seeing how other people are growing as a result, and it's challenging my own limitations. It's challenging my own boundaries for myself. Like, I spoke to somebody yesterday who was sexually abused from the time she was 4 until she was 16 years old. And at the end of the call, I told her I loved her. Because I genuinely love everybody. And it's also a commandment from Yeshua, right? So I told her I loved her. And her response was, I never believed any man could love a woman without there being an agenda. Okay, I want to do this in sequence. I told her I loved her. She said, I love you too. And then she said, you're the first man I've ever believed that has told me that and didn't have an agenda. And so the challenge for me then is to not stop saying it, even when some people are triggered by it. Because I realize that what I said wasn't the issue. What you've been through is. And sometimes it gets tiring, Erwin, to always be triggering somebody. Like, it makes me want to just go back to like, let me just preach you a sermon. Because then you'll be happy. And you won't question anything.
No, they start happy and they still question everything.
Right, you know. But at least they didn't tell me. You know what I mean? That's what I liked. It's like they didn't get in the comment section and be like, your sermon sucks, right? Yeah. So that's the difference now is the audience forces me. Wow, I never thought about it this way. But the audience is actually requiring me to stay obedient to what God told me to do. Especially on the days when I'm like, I think I've done enough. Right? You know what I mean? It was a good run. I'm done. So, yeah.
Well, the more honest and transparent and authentic you are, the safer the audience feels in your presence. I want to take a few minutes and open it up for questions.
Sweet.
And so I think we have a couple of we have Marcus and
Marcos.
You see, and Marcus is going to do a couple of things. One, he's going to hold the microphone and not give it to you because people are power hungry. And
somebody's going to grab the mic and be like, "My precious."
Yeah. I wanted to be super succinct. I want it to be a question, okay? And you don't get to give any backstory, so you can do as many questions as possible. All right. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and you can stand up, tell us your name, where you're from. If you don't have any questions, I'll keep going. Oh, here we go.
My name is Kevin, and my question would be, how do you balance the line between humility or I guess, how do you not step into the line of pride when you're seeking to be humble? Because when Jesus, in his humility, could have seen as proudful from our perspective currently. So how do you balance that with the seeking to be integral and authentic with authenticity? People can call it pride.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Kevin, stand back up. I love you. Thank you for asking your question. What do you do well?
Love my wife.
You love your wife well. That's dope. And you know that for a fact.
Yes, because I love the Lord.
Great. Tell me something else you do well.
Asking questions.
You ask questions well. Great. Tell me something else you do well.
Play Fortnite.
That's good. I actually like that. That's good. Okay. I appreciate you saying that. You knowing that is good for you. It would be dangerous if you didn't know what you were good at. It would be crazy if you couldn't tell others what you were good at. That would be crazy. Why would anybody ever have a resume if they weren't confident about what they were good at? I have often been perceived as cocky, arrogant, brash. I just know what I'm good at. I'm supposed to know that. I think it gets over into pride when I want to be good at something at the expense of someone else. I want to be good at something and I don't want anyone else to be good at anything. Okay. So I want to read you a passage in, and you can sit back down. I just wanted you to Yeah, thanks. So Luke chapter number 4. Y'all give Kevin a hand. He was brave enough to go first. So I want to read you a passage, my favorite passage to talk about this. This is in Luke chapter number 4. This is either the most arrogant moment in Yeshua's ministry, or he was just trying to tell us what he's good at, right? But the way, like, there's tension in the thing. So I want to read it. All right. So this is Luke chapter number 4, starting at the 14th verse. I'm reading from the Tree of Life version of the Bible. It's very Jewish. Yeshua returned. It's very, very Jewish. Yeshua returned in the power of the Ruach to the Galilee, and news about him went on through all the surrounding region. He taught in their synagogues, and everyone was praising him. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been raised. As was his custom, he went into the synagogue on Shabbat, and he got up to read. When the scroll of Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, was handed to him, he unrolled the scroll and found the place where it was written, "The Ruach Adonai is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set free the oppressed, and to proclaim the year of Adonai's favor." He closed the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. All eyes in the synagogue were focused on him. The moment was literally like this. Like, and then he breaks that awkward silence by saying this. Today the scripture has been fulfilled in your ears. All were speaking well of him and marveling at the gracious words coming out of his mouth. And they were saying, "Isn't this the son of Joseph?" Like, that's either arrogance or it's informational. Here's what I do. Here's what my daddy sent me to do. And if you look at anything I do in the next 3.5 years of my earthly ministry, you can check off one of these boxes, because I'll be doing that. I'm good at that. So I think it's false humility when you know you're good at something and you don't say it, because we have this churchy way of like, I'm being humble. And then like you can't even take a compliment anymore. It's like, man, that song, man, you led that song beautifully. I just felt the presence of God. Oh, me, no. It was all God, none of me. It wasn't all God, because I heard you. And if it was all God, I think we'd all be on the floor as dead. So please don't give yourself that much credit. It wasn't all God coming out of you, because you were a little pitchy on that one part. Like, stop playing. Like, just say thank you and move around.
My name is Antonio Reyes. And first of all, I want to say thank you for being the tangible representation of integrity and give hope to all of us. That is
Gracias,
possible.
mi amigo. Gracias.
And my question is, Tim, I know you mentioned that there's moments that you feel like, I'm done, like I don't want to keep doing this. And I think the question for both of you is, what do you do when you find yourself in a space like that and you're like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't want to keep doing this, I just want to give up? Mm-hmm. What practical things that you do, or what story that you tell yourself in moments like that?
Yeah, I say it out loud. My body needs to know that I've paid attention to it. And without words, you don't heal. So you have to be able to say it. You can't internalize it. If you internalize it, it's going to pop out in a very ugly way. So I just say it to myself, and usually that regulates me. If it doesn't, then I'll say it to my wife, and then I'll say it to my friends, and then if I need to, I'll say it to my therapist. But it's okay to be tired. Like, it's okay to be like, man, I don't feel like doing this no more. And then get up the next morning and do another show. Like, you know what I mean? It's very human to be tired. Jesus slept, right? Like, we got Jesus wept down, but Jesus slept. Bro was just tired. Bro was just like, I'm tired, you know. It's a whole storm on the boat. He's asleep. Like, knocked out. So sleep, so tired, so weary, they have to wake him up. And instead of just being like, man, it'll blow over, he stops it because he's tired. Bro comes out to that bow of that ship, he's like, shut up. And the wind is like, oh. So, yeah, say it. Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Hey guys, my name's Adam, and my question has to do with how we step deeper into transparency, vulnerability, especially in leadership roles where we've de-incentivized transparency, and where a lot of the time, to the degree to which you're vulnerable, that could actually be, depending on the culture that you're in, be a removal from the position that you have. So, like, how do we do this from a personal standpoint that you found to be, like, a key towards that growth? And then how do we do that in an organizational standpoint?
Absolutely.
Especially with leadership.
Yes, I'm so grateful you asked the question. So on a personal standpoint, this is cultivated first in yourself and then with your immediate circle of friends. Now, I do want to say, as much as I talk about vulnerability, I do want to acknowledge that vulnerability is risky. Everyone cannot handle your vulnerability. They just can't handle it. It just so happens that my assignment is to be vulnerable in front of everybody, and those that can't handle it just have to move around, right? I am vulnerable at the risk of other people's discomfort. That is the mantra of my life. I have to live there. But when you're cultivating this personally, you curate those people that can handle your vulnerability. In a leadership position, depending on where you sit within the organization, you're making a declaration on the way you're going to live. Okay? So before I got hired at a certain ministry, this is when I was very, very young. I got hired on at this ministry to serve in a particular role. I told the leader of the organization, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm battling a porn addiction. I'm starting to see fruit and victory in it, but this is something that I've had to wrestle with and try to break. And then I gave my whole story. I got sexually abused when I was 8 years old. I got exposed to porn when I was 12. I was highly promiscuous by the time I was late teens, early 20s. And this is something that is still a battle for me. And I led with that because I'm like, if you're going to hire me, I need you to know this now. Now, I ain't going to be looking at porn on your computer and ain't going to be doing no stupid stuff. That's not what I'm saying. If you hiring me, I just need you to know what you're getting into. Now, if that level of vulnerability costs me this job, I know you ain't the one I'm supposed to be under. Because if what I've just disclosed shocks you, you ain't read the Bible all the way through. Right? So now, that's a risky proposition. Sometimes you just want the job. And so it's like, I'll keep that to myself. I won't bring that out. But I've just chosen to live a life where full disclosure allows me to know who really accepts me for me. And if you can handle it, yay, and if you can't, nay. Jesus had Peter, James, and John with him on the Mount of Transfiguration. Vulnerable moment, even though it was glorious, still vulnerable. And he had Peter, James, and John with him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Vulnerable moment. And none of these guys could relate to Jesus. So when you're curating those people, especially if you're in leadership, when you're curating those people you're going to be vulnerable with, they don't have to be other people in ministry. So one of the biggest lies for leaders in ministry is, you don't understand what I'm going through, and I need other pastor. Only a pastor can understand what well, who understood what Jesus was going through? Yet Jesus had guys around him because you just need the support. Jesus told Peter, James, and John to pray for him, a prayer that God could not answer. That's how much he wanted community. Go pray this prayer that I know my dad can't actually answer because it would completely throw off the entire reason why I came. And 4,000 years of prophetic words. Vulnerability and community is that beautiful and it's that important. So curate it and live it and let everything else fall where it may.
Hey guys, my name's Greg. Is this thing on? Hello? It's not on. Hello. Name's Greg. Just have a quick question. This weekend being all about dreams. In LA, a lot of us are pursuing passions and dreams that sometimes can seem a little self-centered in a way where you almost have to focus on it to build something. So how can we determine if a dream is from God or from the Lord? And is it wrong to pursue a passion? I don't know. Sometimes I get that a little mixed up or feel pressured to, I don't know.
I believe in pursuing passions and also believe in stopping the pursuit of passions. And you don't know that until you do it. So when I was in my 20s, I was a rapper, stand-up comic, preacher. I did mime. I did. It used to be hot back then. I don't know what y'all laughing at.
I'm sorry, that was never hot, bro. That was
it
all
was hot.
In your head.
Hey,
that was in your.
You didn't see good stuff, Erwin. You saw whack. You saw human videos. That's what you saw. You didn't see nobody like really like. And then the choice of music is important too. Erwin, you saw some whack stuff, bro. That's on you. That ain't on me. That's on you. I was dope. Greg. Let me talk to you because Erwin tripping. Greg, try everything. Like, pursue it.
Except for mime. Don't do it, bro.
So there's a lot of people that they have analysis by paralysis. He's such a dork. Erwin is a dork, y'all. He be doing the most. So some people have paralysis by analysis. It's like, Lord, what do you want me to do? Sometimes the Lord does say, do that. Sometimes you just have to faith around and find out. Okay? I'm going to give you, this is Acts 16. I'll do this quick. One of my favorite passages because we look at our people in the New Testament and we think they're like super heroic, and they're not. They're regular people trying to figure it out just like us, right? It's just that the super of the Holy Spirit is in our natural, and what they did was supernatural, but these were like regular people. And so this is Acts 16 starting at the 6th verse. They went through the region of Phrygia and Galatia, having been forbidden by the Ruach HaKodesh to speak the word in Asia. Paul was just trying to get anywhere to preach the gospel, but he didn't know where to go. He just going somewhere, right? And as he's going, the Holy Spirit's like, right? So when they came to Mysia, they were trying to proceed into Bithynia, but the Ruach of Yeshua, the only time this is ever said like this, the Spirit of Jesus, would not allow them. So they went that way, nope. Went that way, nope. So they passed by Mysia and went down to Troas. Now a vision appeared to Paul in the night. A man from Macedonia was standing and pleading with him, saying, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." As soon as he had the vision, immediately we tried to go to Macedonia, concluding, not like this assured kind of, concluding that God had called us to proclaim the good news to them. And then they went there and it worked. Like, that's no different than if you're an actor in here and you go for an audition. You go to multiple auditions because you don't know which one's going to pop. Right? I'm reading for the role of this and I'm reading for the role of that. So my thing is, try it. But if it doesn't work, stop trying. Like, I thought I was going to be, so Lecrae is my cousin. I thought I was going to be Lecrae. I got mixtapes and albums and all the stuff I did in my early 20s. And every time I tried it, So then I tried to do the comedy. And then every time I kept preaching, doors kept opening. I concluded that the Holy Spirit must want me to preach.
So Tim, how did miming go?
That is a perfect. You have no chill, bro. You have zero. See, this is how we be talking at the house, but I didn't know he was going to do it in public. That's hilarious. My mind was dope, Erwin. You going to stop playing with me?
Yeah.
I'm from Inglewood, nigga. It's like, they better stop playing, dog. I'm sorry. Charles, you did that. You are responsible for that. I be getting canceled because of y'all. It's always somebody from Transformation making me do something I ain't supposed to do.
I think his question is really, really important. Yeah. I mean, these questions have been fantastic, by the way. And you have a lot of people who come to LA, come to Hollywood to be directors, producers, writers, actors. And you can almost always know the ones who should quit. And it's, you can. And a huge part of it is in a simple task of how much work they're doing to get better. And when I meet, quote, actors and I ask them, hey, where are you training? Where are you going, to acting school? And they go, I can't afford it, or I don't have time. And I say, you'll never be an actor. And because you don't respect the craft. And I think a lot of times people mistake like a passion for something because they aspire to the end goal rather than a passion for something because they're compulsively addicted to the work. And
Por ejemplo.
pues,
Estoy aprendiendo español.
qué bien, hermano.
Sí. Entonces,
Sí.
yo practico cada día con mi maestra
Sí.
en Andorra. Cada día a las 5 de la mañana. Cada día.
Ay, qué bien.
Porque aprendiendo español es mi pasión. Y yo quiero
Sí.
en español en Latinoamérica sin traducción.
¿Sí?
Sí.
Mira, tú quieres venir a México City y Ecuador para predicar en español con nosotros.
¿Vale? Sí.
Ok.
Sí.
Dígame cuando estás listo.
¿Repites?
Let me know when you're ready.
Vale, sí. Sí.
We will.
Estoy tratando.
Increíble, ¿verdad? Qué bien, sí.
Sí. But you got to have that.
You gotta have that.
I meet with my Spanish teacher Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning.
So I would say, it's time to leave a particular passion when you're no longer passionate about doing the work.
And that's how I felt about miming. It wasn't because I wasn't great at it, Erwin. I just figured, I looked at my watch and said, it's about mine.
Wow.
I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day.
Yeah, but we won't. No. I'm just messing with you, bro.
I love you, man.
No, I love you too. This is so much fun. Isn't this fun? But our time is up.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
Now, when we say goodbye,
AIC.
You can at least rap it, bro.
I would need a beat.
Come on, give him a beat. Come on. Andres, Annie, come on.
They're like,
Aaron,
nah,
come
bro.
on.
They're like, we don't want none of that.
James,
we don't want none of
come
this
on.
work.
No, come on. You ready? We're gonna give you a beat.
Okay, and you just want me to say goodbye in rap?
Or you can mime it, whichever one you feel like led to.
You play too much. You play too much. That's hilarious.
Come on, Tim Ross! You gotta give us one. Come on. Live at Mosaic Conference, world-renowned rapper, Tim Ross!
Hi, everybody. My name is Tim. I'm 5'9", and I look kind of slim. Sometimes the situation's grim. You see my beard, I like to keep it trimmed. I like how the band plays this. I'm out here at Mosaic, just chilling with Erwin, miming, rhyming, chiming, freestyling, wildin', buck wildin'. I love everybody. When I'm sick, I drink hot toddies. Sometimes they have brandy, not the singer, real brandy. It tastes like some candy. I wake up the next morning feeling dandy. I really love God and my Bible. I really keep it all like a rifle, just in case I have to shoot the devil. I like the bass and the treble. I like the whole team. We're here for the dreams. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, everybody scream!